Hello! This video is for anybody out there who likes my music and wants to know how I make it, and how I've historically made it, and how I'm going to make it from now on. So, this is my music studio. No, that's not true. Well, yes, this is a music studio that I have. And this is how I used to do things, and still do things when appropriate. It's like how everyone does things. You get the software Ableton Live. You open sets and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And you know how it works. You get VST synthesizers. You get MIDI controllers and stuff, you know? Basically, you sit in front of a computer and you're kind of like computer programming versus you're kind of being a musician and a computer programmer at the same time, essentially. It's a big long trip you can go down. You're probably familiar with it. It's called Ableton Live, and it's how most people have been doing it. It's how I've been doing it for 20 years. And but anyway, this is not a video so much about how to use tech. It's more like tech philosophy, which I think is actually very important. It's probably even more important to develop a mindset around tech philosophy than it is to get the latest and greatest everything that's out there. Why? Well, the first reason why is because you will spend a shit ton of money on shit you don't need. Because there's so much stuff, and they all do like the same stuff. So you have to kind of like figure out, what are you trying to do? That's like the first thing you have to figure out. So it took me a long time to figure stuff like that out. Okay, so here's my traditional environment. I still use it, and now I'm going to get to the evolution of where I'm at in a little bit. But let's start with how I used to do things. Here I am. I'm sitting down in front of MIDI controllers and a screen. Just me. It's by myself. And what am I trying to do when I sit down? I'm like, oh, here's another MIDI controller. Don't mind that. It's cool because it's like a marimba xylophone thing, and it's tactile, responsive in ways that this stuff isn't. So that's a whole other subject that I'm not going to get too deep into. But okay, what am I trying to say? Plugins. So basically, you'll get this Ableton Live software, and it comes with a lot of stuff. And like, if you get this super expensive $800 thing, then you go over here and you'll see that there's all these kind of things. There's probably thousands of videos out there, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of videos on how to use Ableton Live. So I'm not going to get into that. I'm talking about tech philosophy here. So the reason why you want to know what you're trying to do is because when you're like, oh, this stuff won't do what I want it to do the way I want it. Like, you're like, I want this, but no, I don't like it. Ableton Live can do a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of people's tech philosophy is basically that Ableton Live can do most of what you want to do, and to not be seduced by VST plugins. So that's if you want to like commit to the Ableton Live pathway, then sure, you could get as deep as Ableton Live can go with what they've provided for you, and get some benefit out of that. I'm not sure. The thing is that, so here's plugins. Where are they? There they are. So here's a bunch of plugins. You're like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's like some stuff I bought. What's this? Some more stuff I bought. Okay. every one of these things was like between like $100 and $500. I don't know how much money I've spent on sort of VST synths, like, in order to get the cool sound. So I mean, here's one example. Like a long time ago, it was like, oh, I need this thing called Spectrasonics Omnisphere. And you're like, all right, what is that? And you buy it and you get it, and here you go. It's $500. You spent $500. Now, what does that do for you? Okay, you have all these sounds now. All right. They give you all these sounds to sort of like to browse. All right, and so that's all well and good. If that, it unlocks your ability to be creative. So basically, Ableton gives you stock sounds, and they're pretty good, but they're not, you could have a lot of inspiration come out of like what other people think sound should be, and then you can use their software to sort of make sound the way you think it should be. It's all well and good. It's a very expensive environment to play in. So basically, like computer, $800, like audio interface, $400, MIDI controllers, hundreds of dollars, hundreds. And then like, so basically, okay, now you're spending thousands of dollars. And then you go into here, and then VST is like, how much money have I spent on VSTs? Thousands of dollars, I guess. I don't know, $5,000. I honestly don't know. I'm going to be honest and say that when I was younger, I didn't have any fucking money, and so I got the pirated shit, and that's why I was a PC guy, because I didn't know how to get pirated Mac shit and whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to be held back by the fact that there's like thousands of dollars that I need to start playing when these pirate people have hooked me up with a way to play without having to spend those thousands. Of course, you still have to spend money on all this computer shit. So that's hard enough as it is to deal with. But then, as I progressed on my path, and then like I was, as a more functioning adult, I had more financial sort of like disposal, like I could like afford this stuff. I would buy it. Okay, whatever. So what are we doing? We're buying stuff, and we're buying stuff in hopes that when we are expressing ourselves, what is happening is a flow state. Yeah, a flow state. So we're trying to get into a flow state. And sometimes, like, I mean, if you're limited, like, for instance, if this thing was like a Yamaha keyboard that sucked, and I had no computers or any fancy stuff, I would be like, and I'd be playing with this crap Yamaha sound, and that'd be like the extent of what I could express. And I'd be like, damn, like, I need more shit. So you kind of have to like get deeper and deeper and deeper into the tech to get deeper and deeper and deeper into the flow states. And I used to think that the flow state was pretty cool in the Ableton environment. But then I found a different way to get in a flow state, and I'm about to share that. But so basically the thing about this flow state here is that you have this linear timeline, and you drag and drop the little boxes of sound, and you layer the sounds in order to make a composed piece of work. And you're like, okay, that's a song. And you're like, the flow state you might be in is like, for me, it would be like, if I was like, let's say, here's the beginning of the song, and then the middle of the song, and then the end of the song. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna loop this here for like 3 hours until I get the perfect fucking guitar riff. And I'd be like, all right, we just want to loop this area. be like it's like 3 in the morning or something like that, or 4 in the morning. I mean, back in the day, it was like normal people are sleeping at night and stuff, and I am awake by myself at 4 in the morning, and this loop here is going over and over and over until I find the perfect guitar riff, and then the song is evolving and morphing, and then the end product would be like a really inspiring piece of work for somebody who gets to fly on a magic carpet of imagination and dream and sound, because essentially that's what I was doing, flying on a magic carpet of a dream of sound. And so whatever that like dopamine and serotonin and like juicy situation that felt good in my body and my brain is being downloaded onto someone else, and they're like, I love life, I love being alive, I love art, I love possibility, I love this human experience and this journey. I'm ready to crush life, and like I want to feed my soul with more of this stuff so that I can like have the the experience of being a connected human being on this planet, and like get through life basically in an inspired way and an empowered way. So basically that's what I'm doing, is I'm looking for life inspiration within this matrix of tools, which is allowing me to craft sound in a way that is providing benefit to me and other people. The providing benefit to me part is questionable sometimes, because I don't know if it's super healthy to be awake at 4 in the morning staring at a screen and like having all these things go into my ear that's feeding back like the thing. But whatever, I was willing to go on that journey. I still am willing to go on that journey, and I do go on that journey. So anyway, that's what the last 20 years of all my albums and stuff, that's what that looked like. It was Ableton Live, and it was computers, and it was VST plugins. And that's all well and good when it comes to crafting and writing albums, but then the live performance aspect of being a musician comes into play. And the problem that I always had with that, I did pretty well. I mean, I did a lot better than most. I mean, honestly, I don't have anything left to lose in my life path at the moment. Like, I'm 47 years old. Like, bullshit has just like fallen from my consciousness to the degree where like I don't give a shit. I'll say what I think, and like I'm not anyway, the point is, I think the festival environments are fucking bullshit, and like the fact that people, super popular DJs and producers and whatever, all they do is they go up on stage and they press play basically because there's CDJs, or like that's no, I don't know. They don't really use CDJs anymore. Maybe they have a computer, but I never could really get into pressing play and dancing behind my laptop and pretending like that was some kind of a live performance. I mean, I know that people are good at lying to themselves and other people, and that's kind of like how the whole world works and everything like that. But like that degree of like lying to myself and other people, it's like that meme that went around where like the chick is like crying and she's like, what do you even do anyway? Press play? What are those knobs doing? And she's like having a nervous breakdown because she's trying to figure out what DJs do. She's kind of on to something there. It's like DJs, like so many of them don't do shit. They just press play. And oh, it's a high intensity environment. There's so many thousands of people. So whatever, the high intensity environment is fake. You're just pressing play. It's not a performance. And like everyone's dancing and stuff, and like, oh, but the human energy and the festival yeah, okay, great. Like that's cool. I think we can do better. All right. I get that, like, whatever, that there's thousands of people and there's the tickets on the line. And if something goes wrong and the performance goes bad, it's all going to blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever. I never got those slots anyway. So I'm not about to defend like how people have to do it in those environments. But I think it would be cooler if musicians could share music live in the moment for reals, and not just press play on tracks that they made, 20, 10, 15, 5 years ago or whatever, and call that a performance. Maybe they're using one of these things and they've separated their stems or something, and that's cool too. Like maybe they can bring things in and out, or they can add some effects to their performance. And that's all good. Like that's what I did basically. Like I was like, what I would do would I would take out the um like say guitar or bass guitar or some kind of performative element in the piece, and I would re-perform that live with a backing track essentially. And then as far as the backing track was concerned, it was like I could embellish that with effects. Like you could filter it and echo it and reverb it and delay and da 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 and EQ it and do interesting things, which definitely, if anything, alleviated my sense of being fake on stage, because like I could actually do some stuff and I could actually play the guitar, and that way when there's like people out there, I'm not like, hey guys, what's up? I'm gonna do a little dance for you behind my laptop. Isn't this fun? Like I was actually able to like do something there for them, which wasn't perfect, but with the tech that we have, like that was pretty much as good as you could do at that time. So, yeah, so this idea that 20 years ago someone wrote this software called Ableton Live, was that it was like a live performance tool and that you could do stuff live. But what I found was with this linear timeline and stuff like that, there's only so much. And of course you go into this view and then you could do like the way to make it actually live is like you can trigger clips, bring clips in and out, bring the volumes in and out of the clips, and like add effects to the clips, like if you have some clips. And yeah, you could get creative that way for sure. I didn't see that many people who were really going that length. Most of them were too scared that they might fuck up, and they were just pressing play and dancing behind their laptops. But it can do that. Anyway, so let me get to where I'm at these days. So basically, this is still a functioning space here. This is my wife's zone here. This is my zone. This is where we come in and we do the deep edit work. Like this is where you come and you sit down and you do mixing and mastering and like the stuff that's like required in order for sound to be top notch for production for albums, etc. And I am working on a new album, so it's coming. So anyway, that's what this space is for me. It's like acoustically treated somewhat, and I can like get into deep edit mode here when I have the time, which is pretty much never. So then over here is what I'm currently excited about. This is my wife's setup. She's doing awesome. She's actually using Ableton Live right now to do live performance and looping her voice and doing some really cool stuff with true live performance, live looping. This is my current setup here. And the thing that I'm most excited about that I've been playing around with for 5 months is an entirely new environment. And it's called Loopy Pro. The secret is out. People are starting to understand that Loopy Pro is superior to Ableton Live for actual live performance, because the interface and it's you have to. The thing is, you have to have an iPad. That's kind of like the sucky part, is for people who don't have iPads or whatever, you have to buy one. And, you're probably going to want like a powerful one. And then Apple does some bullshit where they're like, do you want extra hard drive space? Oh, that's another $200. Do you want, and basically to get what you really want, they're like, all right, fork over the cash, bitch. And, you have to throw down money on an iPad. And So anyway, the iPad used to suck so hard, I can't even begin to explain how sucky the iPad used to be. But my friend, one of my musician friends, he clued me into the fact that it's changed now, and all the Apple bullshit where they were like, you can't share your files unless you have the Files app, and all this like bullshit that they were trying to make this dumb consumer product that creative people couldn't really like unlock the potential because you were like this slave to some dumb consumer model thing that like limited all of your options. Luckily they like stopped doing that, and then they also put in the M chips, like the super fast computery stuff in here. So this is an iPad Pro from 2021. It's working great. When you go down the iPad pathway for music production, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to use Loopy Pro. So Loopy Pro is just a DAW, and it's like it's how do I describe? It uses these things called AUV3s. So if you want to add an AUV3, you press the plus, and you have hardware input, audio unit input, inter-app audio unit. You can add things here into. So the audio units are like VSTs. So people familiar with the VST environment, audio units are just VSTs basically. They're like specific software app thingies which do stuff. So some of them do sound generation and some of them do effects. So depending on what you're adding, sound generation or effects, you would add it anywhere on this little thing that you're making. You're making basically like this, excuse me, I'm sick. This interface or this template that basically can do whatever you want, but you have to put in the work. You have to like get in there and figure out how to make exactly what you want. And so that's where this tech philosophy comes in, and why it's so cool to figure out what you're trying to do, because then if you can get your head around this environment, anything that you're trying to do, it can. So if you're like, can it? It's like the answer is yes. You're like, can it be my guitar effects controller? And it's like, yes. And it's like, oh, but can it also make a piano sound? And you're like, yes. And you're like, can I take the piano sound and add reverb? And it's like, yes. And then it's like, can I take the piano sound, add reverb, and then add a delay, and da-da-da? The answer is yes. And so whatever. You can essentially all the things, the whole reason why I was over here in this environment and I was like doing things this way back in the day, it was the same thing. It was like, I want to express myself. How do I make a sound? And then these various apps and they would like offer that promise of like, here's how it's going to sound good. And then that'll get you in a flow state so that you'll be able to compose these works that people will resonate with and be inspired by. So it's the same game, but different. And now that iPad has opened up the creative potential of its products by not limiting them anymore, it's fucking cool game that you can play here. So I'm configuring this still. I'm about 5 months deep into Loopy Pro. And basically, so here's a foot pedal. I'll go over it in more detail. This is just a long-winded rant about technology and philosophy of technology, and why explaining technology is, why understanding technology is your best bet to get done what you want to do. Because once you understand what technology is and how it works and how you can configure it, then you can get into the flow state that's going to produce the work that's going to inspire other people. So that's really the key there. And you want to get really efficient with your understanding, because like I said, you'll waste a lot of money and time if you don't have a good idea what you're trying to do and how to do it. So with this current setup, basically I have so my hands need to be free because like here's my guitar, here's my bass guitar. I have a microphone here. I'm singing nowadays, and in order to trigger these loops without having to press something, like I have a MIDI controller here, so I don't really have to press the screen because basically, like I'm almost at the point where the screen is just for reference, where every single thing that I've programmed, every single MIDI parameter, this is just like a brain crunching all the numbers, giving me a little bit of visual feedback so I can like understand what's going on. But like I don't really need to press these donuts and make them go around like that, because I can press over here because I have visual feedback and a device. So anyway, every time you there's all these loops, and so you can record into these little loops, and the loops start happening, and man, how do I describe? Yeah, so it's a loop-based environment. It's like we've been playing around, and I see a lot of people these days are playing around with these guys, the RC505. I'm telling all my musician friends, like, get rid of that thing. If you can get away from that, the sooner the better. Please get an iPad. Go into Loopy Pro. All you have to do is figure out how to pair your MIDI devices with this beautiful machine, and then you have an RC505 on steroids. It's 1,000 times better than an RC505 on every level. It can do 10,000 times as many things, and you will sing to the heavens. So, where was I? Okay, so I'm barely touching the screen at all. This is a powerful piece of software that allows you to, it's basically a DAW, but it's the live performance tool that is like unlocking the next level of what I have been able to do previously and what I can do now. You basically need a little dongle thingy. This is my dongle. It has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things connected to it right now. So I have this connected, this connected, this connected, this connected, and my audio interface connected. And they're all talking to the software here so that I don't have to take my hand and do all this shit like this and press these buttons on the screen. I can go over here and just be like, boom, 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 and boom, 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 and just press buttons and tweak knobs and not touch the screen. The goal is to like, how much can you not touch the screen? That is the goal in my opinion. So not touching the screen because I'm launching and recording clips here. When I can't touch this with my finger, I can tap these with my feet. And then I can layer different, like I said, when I'm playing guitar or bass and I want to throw those loops into this matrix, I can't be bothered to free my hand up and touch this screen, so I have to use my feet. And but sometimes and then same thing with keys, obviously. If you're doing keys, you're going to have to like trigger your loops with your feet because your hands are busy. But then other times you can actually touch the screen because there's a count, like a countdown thing. Like see, there's a little thing spinning around that circle. So when you do touch, like here, I'll touch this thing over here. I could touch the screen, but so it's counting down. So you have some time before it starts recording. So you can actually like touch the screen. See how it's blinking? It's like, get ready. We're about to record. Get ready. Boom, recording, kind of thing. So yeah. that is where I'm at right now. And it's fucking awesome. What year is it? 2025? Oh my God. So this is how you break free of the linear timeline. So if you follow someone like Beardy Man or something like that, he's been on this trip for a really long time. DubFX is another one. The live loopers, they did the beatbox thing, and then they got really curious about like, how can I expand this and make this more? Because like, I can see where they're coming from. Like they do the beatbox championship thing, and then they're like, all right, that's cool. I can use my voice to make all these beats and loop my voice in these ways, and that people like that. But like, ideally, I want to make like full on songs and stuff like that. And so, yeah, so they went on this path where they were here where I am before, like, it was easier to get here because they were like taking it upon themselves to like research and configure and do all this crazy shit so that they could like if you look into Beardy Man, you'll see the Beardytron and what he built there and how that enables him to on the fly just create what sound like entirely produced tracks out of scratch, out of thin air, and to show up to a show like completely, like not completely unprepared, like obviously prepared in this way. Like once you get prepared, once you figure out your templates and how all the tech works, then you can actually like show up to events like pretty much like almost scriptless and on the fly just start creating sound. And it's like a lot of it will come out sounding like a totally produced track, like it sounds the same as if like in this room here where I do the Ableton thing, as if you were like up all night looping the things around like composing tracks through Ableton. Like you get the same effect. And I love what he says is like you break free from the linear timeline. So it's like when you with these loops, what's so exciting about this technology is as a musician, live performance as a producer has always been tricky because like you can't break free of the linear timeline basically. But like with this, you can. And so I that's about the extent of what I can say here at this moment. I know that was a really long video, and for anyone interested in this sort of thing, maybe it's informative, but I can go into detail. There's layers of nitty gritty, but so a few final words. Okay, a few final words are one is the cost savings. Okay, get your iPad. This thing is $30, $30 for this DAW. Ableton is $800. That's number one. Number two, over here, Inter Audio App Unit. These awesome pieces of software that make sound, every single one of them in the Apple Store, you're like, let me go to the Apple Store. Like you figure out, oh, I want to buy this thing. You try to buy it, all right? So you go here and you're like, what's that AUV3 I wanted to buy? And whatever, like maybe it's this one, or I mean, there's like literally thousands of them. You're like, here's a piano of some kind, or like whatever. They all make sound and stuff. They're like VSTs. How much do they cost? $9.99, $12.99, $19.99, $14.99, $8.99. Yeah, there's some cost to it, but like, I mean, I can spend $19.99 on a pizza and have dinner or whatever. It's a lot different than the VST environment where where you're throwing down hundreds of dollars. Like I got this Omnisphere Keyscape thing back in the day. where is it? I don't have the box, but whatever. It's like just this one thing. Let's open it up. Omnisphere Keyscape. All right, so it makes piano sounds. Nice. Okay, piano sounds are cool. How much did I spend on this? $300, I think. It might have been $400. I don't know. Or another example would be like, let's just say, yeah, it's the Omnisphere thing that I was showing you earlier. Like, how much was this? $499, I think? I don't know. What does it do? It makes synth sounds, okay? It does the same shit. What does it do? It makes synth sounds. Yeah, you can get in and you can adjust all these knobs and you can make them sound different if you want and blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of control parameters. Same situation over here, but this is gonna be like $20. And you can get some cool sounds. So like, let's say you buy some kind of a synth that some awesome people make, $20. So, and then the same thing goes with, and there's some high quality like Fab Filter, Fab Filter. And understandably, this is going to be a little more. Come on, focus. Not focusing. There it is. $29.99 for the Pro Q4. How much does Pro Q cost in the VST environment? I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't remember. A couple $100, I think. Something like that. So roughly 1/10 of a price for the stuff that you need to make the cool stuff happen. And man, there's more to talk about. Holy shit, this video is going forever. In addition to all that, check this out. This does all the stuff that does in there. It's better at doing it. It's cheaper at doing it. And it's portable. I can close this all up. I'll take this stuff down, close this all up, clip. I've made a little case for it. So this all closes up and I can carry it to the gig in one hand, open it up and get ready to go. It's like smaller, more lightweight, and more portable. Not only that, but if I'm not doing a gig, I can go into the forest and with a Jackery or some kind of like portable battery device or solar power or whatever, take my studio outside. I can chill by the river and be inspired by that environment, outdoors in nature, trees, birds, sun shining, making music. That's unprecedented. Up until now in human history, you had to have a studio. You had to be in this square box. You had to have a reliable place, horrible light, to plug in your power. You were glued. And that's another thing about music technology philosophy that I want to get at. It's like this analog versus digital debate. Like so many people are like, okay, it's got to be analog. It's got to be analog. And I'm throwing that argument in the trash. It sounds better. It sounds better. All right. If it sounds 10% better to you, go ahead and spend tens of thousands of dollars on analog equipment. Plug it all into your studio space and be trapped in that studio space, okay? If that's your trip, go for it. But like if I compromise just a teeny bit and I'm like, okay, it doesn't need to be analog, and I go digital, I now can do all the stuff that can do with little apps that cost $10, and it's totally portable. It can be solar powered. It can go anywhere I want. I can perform anywhere I want, and I can go into nature and create music anywhere I want. The portability and convenience of digital trumps analog's like supposed sound quality shit to infinity. I mean, maybe I'm just bitter because I never could afford that kind of stuff.